clause with
는지,
I have been doing X for
는지.
capital X.
됐다 소스, howtostudykorean.com.
Below is a list of vocabularies to be used in this lesson. Nouns.
택배 이퀄 딜리버리 가격 이퀄 프라이스 용돈 이퀄 얼라우언스 아르바이트 이퀄
Part-time job.
빛.
A light.
시인 이퀄 포트 주제 이퀄 서브젝트 그룹 이퀄 그룹 요금 이퀄
Fare. Price.
위치
Position. Location.
해안
The coast.
가정 패밀리 재료
Materials, ingredients.
자유 이퀄 프리덤 책임 이퀄 리스판서빌러티 입구 이퀄
Entrance. Way in.
출구
Exit. Way out.
출입
Enter and exit.
수술
Surgery. Operation.
훈련 이퀄 트레이닝 비상 이퀄 이머전시 계단 이퀄
Steps. Stairs. Staircase.
전통
Tradition, culture, héritage.
호선
A subway line.
기간
A period of time. Verbs.
꺼내다
To take out. To remove something.
전하다
To convey. To deliver.
정하다
To set.
줄이다
To reduce. To decrease.
데려오다
To bring a person. Coming.
데려가다
To bring a person. Going.
막다
To obstruct. To block.
허락하다
To allow. To permit.
버리다
To throw away.
잊어버리다
To forget.
벌다
To earn.
기르다
To raise. A child. Pet. To cultivate. A plant.
조심하다
To act carefully.
관리하다
To manage. To administer.
치료하다
To treat. To cure. Passive verbs.
줄다
To be reduced. To be decreased.
깨지다
To be broken. Cracked. Smashed. Adjectives.
쌀쌀하다
To be chilly.
밝다
To be bright.
목마르다
To be thirsty.
구체적이다
To be detailed. Specific. Introduction. Up to now, you have learned a lot, probably too much, about using
는 것
or one of its derivatives with a clause to describe an upcoming noun. For example,
내가 가고 있는 곳
the place I am going,
내가 만난 사람
the person I met,
내가 먹을 음식
the food I will eat. In this lesson, you will learn about adding
는지
to indicate that the preceding clause is a guess or something uncertain. Let's get started. A clause of uncertainty.
는지
I didn't know what title to give to,
는지
but I came up with the clause of uncertainty which I feel describes it well, by placing
는지
at the end of a clause. You can indicate that the clause is some sort of guess, question or uncertainty. A common situation where there is uncertainty is when there is a question word in a sentence. For example,
저는 친구가 어디 가는 것을 몰라요.
if we break that sentence down into more simple pieces, we get
저는 몰라요.
I don't know. What don't you know? You don't know the noun within the brackets.
저는 친구가 어디 가는 것을 몰라요.
So the sentence reads,
저는 친구가 어디 가는 것을 몰라요.
I don't know where my friend is going, however, because
친구가 어디 가는 것
is uncertain,
는지
should be added to the clause instead of.
는 것.
For example,
저는 친구가 어디 가는지 몰라요.
I don't know where my friend is going. It is also worth pointing out here that the future tense
겠다,
is commonly added to
모르다,
in these types of sentences. When
모르다,
is used like this, as
모르겠다,
it does not have a future tense meaning. Rather, it is just a common, and slightly more polite, way to say that one does not know something. Therefore, it would be more common to see the sentence above written spoken as
저는 친구가 어디 가는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know where my friend is going. You'll continue to see
모르겠다,
used instead of a present tense conjugation of
모르다.
in the rest of this lesson and throughout your Korean studies. By default, if a clause contains a question word,
누구, 뭐, 언제, 어디, 왜,
etc.,
는지,
is usually added due to the uncertainty that it contains. For example,
엄마가 누구랑 먹는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know who mom is eating with.
엄마가 뭐 먹는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know what mom is eating.
엄마가 어디서 먹는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know where mom is eating.
엄마가 왜 먹는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know why mom is eating. However, a question word does not need to be included in order to use.
는지.
All that is needed is that there is uncertainty in the sentence, when there is no question word in a sentence that includes
는지.
the English word if is usually used. For example,
엄마가 지금 먹고 있는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if mom is eating now. Below are more examples. Also notice that the final word of the sentence does not need to be
모르다.
any verb or adjective that makes sense along with the preceding uncertain clause can be used. For example,
그 사람을 왜 데려오는지 물어봤어요.
I asked him why he is bringing that person.
비상 출입구가 어디 있는지 찾았어요.
We found where the emergency exit is.
해안까지 어떻게 가는지 물어봤어요.
I asked how to get to the beach coast.
엄마가 무슨 재료를 쓰고 있는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know what ingredients mom is using.
정부가 외국인 선생님 예산을 왜 줄이는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know why the government is decreasing the budget for foreign teachers.
학생들은 선생님들이 돈을 얼마나 버는지 몰라요.
Students don't know how much money teachers earn.
저는 그 학생이 어느 대학교를 다니는지 기억이 안 나요.
I don't remember which university that student attends. Full stop. Full stop. Past tense. The same concept can be used to indicate a guess, question or uncertainty in the past tense. In order to express this,
악업.
should be added to the verb at the end of the uncertain clause, followed by,
는지.
for example,
저는 엄마가 왜 먹었는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know why mom ate.
저는 엄마가 뭐 먹었는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know what mom ate.
저는 엄마가 언제 먹었는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know when mom ate.
저는 엄마가 어디서 먹었는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know where mom ate.
저는 엄마가 밥을 먹었는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if mom ate. The form above, using,
얻는지.
is officially correct in Korean. However, in speech, it is very common to hear
는지.
being used instead. For example,
저는 엄마가 왜 먹은지 모르겠어요.
I don't know why mom ate.
저는 엄마가 뭐 먹은지 모르겠어요.
I don't know what mom ate.
저는 엄마가 언제 먹은지 모르겠어요.
I don't know when mom ate.
저는 엄마가 어디서 먹은지 모르겠어요.
I don't know where mom ate.
저는 엄마가 밥을 먹은지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if mom ate. There really isn't any difference between the two sets of sentences, especially in speech. Both sets of sentences sound natural to a Korean speaker. However, the correct grammatical form is to use,
얻는지.
and the use of,
는지.
is more used in spoken Korean. Other examples.
그 셔츠를 언제 버렸는지 기억이 안 나요.
I don't remember when I threw away that shirt.
열쇠를 어디 두었는지 잊어버렸어요.
I forget where I put my keys.
우리가 이것을 언제 정했는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know when we said it.
그가 저에게 무슨 말을 전했는지 기억이 안 나요.
I don't remember what that person told me, conveyed to me.
Future tense.
The same concept can be used to indicate a guess, question or uncertainty in the future tense. In order to express this,
을.
should be added to the verb at the end of the uncertain clause, followed by,
지.
for example,
택배가 언제 올지 모르겠어요.
I don't know when the delivery will come.
용돈을 얼마나 줄지 모르겠어요.
I don't know how much allowance I should give.
오후에 비가 올지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if it will rain in the afternoon.
수술을 받을지 확실하지 않아요.
It is not certain if I will get surgery.
내일 공원에 갈지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if I will go to the park tomorrow.
내일 영화를 볼지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if I will see a movie tomorrow. When the uncertain clause doesn't have a question word in it, it is common to use the word might in the English translation. For example,
오후에 비가 올지 모르겠어요.
it might rain in the afternoon tomorrow.
수술을 받을지 모르겠어요.
I might get surgery.
내일 공원에 갈지 모르겠어요.
I might go to the park tomorrow.
내일 영화를 볼지 모르겠어요.
I might see a movie tomorrow. English speakers are often confused about how the same Korean sentence can seemingly translate to different things in English. My answer is, they don't translate to different things. The Korean usage of
을지 몰라요.
just indicates that something may or may not happen. Both translations above, I don't know if and might, indicate that something may or may not happen. Remember that sometimes it is difficult to translate a Korean sentence perfectly into English. As such, I always suggest that you understand the general meaning of the Korean sentence, and try to focus less on the given English translations. The nuance of using
을지 몰라요.
can translate to many things in English, all of which, as a result of being a completely different language, cannot perfectly describe this nuance. Using
는지,
with adjectives, it is also possible to attach
는지,
to an uncertain clause that is predicated by an adjective. However, instead of adding,
는지, 는지,
should be added. Notice that the difference in
는지,
and
는지,
is the same as the difference when attaching
는,
or
는,
to verbs and adjectives to describe an upcoming noun. For example,
먹는 것, 가는 것, 행복한 것, 밝은 것,
below are some examples of
는지,
being used with adjectives.
제가 준 것이 괜찮은지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if the thing that I gave is good.
이 빛이 충분히 밝은지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if this light is bright enough.
제가 구한 아르바이트가 좋은지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if the job I found is good.
제가 가져온 자료가 충분한지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if I brought enough materials.
제가 강아지를 기르고 싶은지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if I want to raise a puppy.
그 책이 얼마나 긴지 모르겠어요.
I don't know how long that book is. To use this form with adjectives in the past or future tenses, you can add the same thing as with verbs. For example,
그 시대가 그렇게 길었는지 깨닫지 못했어요.
I didn't realize that era was so long.
그 일이 힘들지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if that work will be difficult.
내일 날씨가 쌀쌀할지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if tomorrow's weather will be chilly, if or not. In all of the above examples, only one situation is indicated in the sentence. It is possible to indicate more than one situation by using more than one verb or adjective connected to
는지,
in the sentence. The simplest way to do this is to include the opposite situation, followed by,
는지.
for example,
내일 영화를 볼지 안 볼지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if I will see a movie tomorrow or not.
수술을 받을지 안 받을지 확실하지 않아요.
It is not certain if I will get surgery or not.
그가 제 말을 들었는지 안 들었는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if he was listening to me or not.
저는 엄마가 밥을 먹었는지 안 먹었는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if mom ate or not.
제가 구한 아르바이트가 좋은지 안 좋은지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if the job I found is good or not. When you are dealing with
하다,
non-verbs, like,
먹다,
you need to write out the verb again to indicate I don't know if mom ate or not. However, when dealing with
하다,
verbs, the sentence can usually be shortened by eliminating the word before.
하다,
When you say the verb the second time, for example, instead of saying,
저는 엄마가 공부했는지 안 공부했는지 모르겠어요.
you could just say,
저는 엄마가 공부했는지 안 했는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if mom studied or not. Remember that Korean people love shortening their sentences and taking out the redundant.
공부,
The second time around is more natural in Korean. In all of the above examples, two possibilities are listed, and the speaker is indicating that he/she doesn't know which one will happen amongst the two. The examples above simply use the positive and negative outcomes of the same situation. It is also possible to list two or more outcomes that are unrelated to each other. For example,
내일 공원에 갈지 영화를 볼지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if I will see a movie or go to the park tomorrow.
제가 구한 아르바이트가 좋은지 나쁜지 모르겠어요.
I don't know if the part-time job I found is good or bad.
수술을 받을지 그냥 약으로 치료할지 확실하지 않아요.
It is not certain if I will get surgery or just treat it with medicine. You can also use
지,
to form a question. For example, if you are asking somebody if they know how to do something, the most common word that finished the sentence would be.
알다.
For example, you can say,
서울에 어떻게 가는지 알아요.
do you know how to get to Seoul?
그 단어를 어떻게 발음하는지 알아요.
Do you know how to pronounce that word?
그 학생이 책을 왜 버렸는지 알아요.
Do you know why that student threw out his book?
물을 어떻게 막는지 알아요.
Do you know how to block the water? I call clauses with
지,
clauses of uncertainty, but that is just a name I gave it because it describes it well in most situations. There are times when
지,
represents something certain. For example, the answers to those questions would be,
서울에 어떻게 가는지 알아요.
I know how to get to Seoul.
그 단어를 어떻게 발음하는지 알아요.
I know how to pronounce that word.
그 학생이 책을 왜 버렸는지 알아요.
I know why that student threw out his book. In those examples,
지,
technically doesn't represent something uncertain, so why do we use?
지,
In these cases, the use of the question word in the sentence makes it more natural to use
지,
as the noun instead of.
것,
Also note that there is another way to say that one knows how to do something, which is more based on ability than knowing something. This other way is discussed in Lesson 85, attaching
투,
to.
지,
It is common to find
투,
attached to,
지,
adding
투,
to,
지,
can have two meanings. 1. To have the to or also or either meaning that.
투.
Usually has. For example,
저는 밥도 먹었어요.
I ate rice too.
저도 밥을 먹었어요.
I also ate rice.
저는 밥도 안 먹었어요.
I didn't eat rice either. This first meaning of
투,
will be discussed in a later lesson. This usage is more about the use of
투,
and not really related to the usage of.
지,
I will just show you one example sentence so you can understand what I mean.
문을 열지도 몰라요.
You don't even know how to open the door. Let's focus on the more ambiguous meaning of,
도,
which will be talked about in number 2. 2. To have very little meaning or purpose in a sentence. Look at the two sentences below.
내일 비가 올지 모르겠어요.
It might rain tomorrow.
내일 비가 올지도 모르겠어요.
It might rain tomorrow, assuming
투,
isn't being added to have the meaning described in number 1 above, which is possible. The use of
투,
does not really change the sentence. Same goes for these two sentences.
내일 공원에 갈지 모르겠어요.
I might go to the park tomorrow.
내일 공원에 갈지도 모르겠어요.
I might go to the park tomorrow. For 7 years, I've been curious about the specific nuance that
투,
adds to these types of sentences. Again, assuming that
투,
is not the.
투,
From number 1 above, all of my research, all of my studying, and all of my exposure to the language has led me to believe that they are essentially the same. I've always thought to myself they can't be exactly the same. The
투,
must have some purpose, right? Recently, I had discussions with many people to try to better understand this nuance. I want to show you conversations I had with 2 people because I think it will not only help you understand how subtle this difference is, but it will also show you that even Korean people don't really know what the difference is. My first conversation was with a Korean person who is a fluent English speaker. Below is how our conversation went, me. Explain the difference in nuance that you feel between these two sentences.
내일 비가 올지 모르겠어요.
It might rain tomorrow.
내일 비가 올지도 모르겠어요.
It might rain tomorrow. The use of
투,
makes it seem like you don't know if it will happen or not. It's possible that it will happen, but it is also possible that it won't happen. Me. But isn't that sort of implied in the first sentence as well? Technically yes, but it's just 2 different ways to say the same meaning. It would be like saying I don't know if it will rain tomorrow or not and it might rain tomorrow. Me. I feel like that first sentence that you just said would be better written as
내일 비가 올지 안 올지 모르겠어요.
her. Ah, yes. I feel like these two sentences mean exactly the same thing.
내일 비가 올지도 모르겠어요. 내일 비가 올지 안 올지 모르겠어요.
I feel like the use of
to
adds that extra nuance that something might happen or not. After speaking with that person, I discussed this problem with a teacher who teaches Korean grammar to Korean high school students. I can only assume that her understanding of Korean grammar is excellent, although sometimes it is hard for somebody to understand the grammar of their own language. Either way, she cannot speak English and our entire conversation was in Korean. This is how it went, me. Explain the difference in nuance that you feel between these three sentences.
내일 비가 올지 모르겠어요. 내일 비가 올지도 모르겠어요. 내일 비가 올지 안 올지 모르겠어요.
The first two sentences are identical. In the third one, you are indicating the two possibilities of it might rain or it might not rain. Me. I just talked with another Korean person, and she said that the use of
to
in the second sentence sort of implies those two possibilities as well. She said that the second and third sentences had the same meaning. What do you think about that? I don't feel that way when I hear it. I feel the first two are the same, and the third one is listing more possibilities, So here I had two Korean people, one with excellent English and the other with a lot of Korean grammar knowledge, and they gave me opposing answers. My conclusion from this and all of my studying, researching and exposure to the language is,
을지 모르다 and 을지도 모르다.
have the same, or effectively the same meaning. Let me take a minute to explain when you would use
to.
In this case,
to
is added to uncertain clauses that are conjugated in the future tense to express one's uncertainty of if something will happen in the future or not. You'll typically not see
to
added to an uncertain clause in the past or present tense unless it is being used to have the meaning as discussed in number 1 above.
To
Is not added to uncertain clauses where there is a question word in the clause. For example, it would be unnatural to say something like this.
비가 언제 올지도 모르겠어요.
This rule leads me to believe that the purpose of
to
is somewhat closer to having the if or not meaning as it was described by the English-speaking Korean person in our conversation, just like how adding or not would be unnatural to add to the following English sentence. It would be unnatural to add to its Korean translation.
비가 언제 올지도 모르겠어요.
I don't know when it will rain or not. Again, this usage is not the usage of
to
from number 1 above. In that usage,
to
can be added to
는지, not 얻는지,
or
을지,
to have the meaning that
to
usually possesses when it is added to nouns. It can also be added to uncertain clauses that have question words. I will discuss this meaning in a future lesson. Wow, all of that work to understand one syllable. We're not done yet. That syllable
지,
has another meaning, one that is easier to dissect. I have been doing X for Y.
지,
Up to this point, this lesson has explained the meaning of
는지,
as a grammatical principle that is attached to its previous clause. For example,
저는 친구가 어디 가는지 모르겠어요.
I don't know where my friend is going, when
는지,
is added to.
가다,
Notice that there is no space between
가다, 는,
or.
지,
In this usage,
지,
is not a noun but instead just a part of a larger grammatical principle that can be attached to verbs or adjectives.
지,
Has another meaning, and it is completely unrelated to the meaning of
지,
that was described earlier in this lesson. I would like to talk about this other meaning in this lesson as well. In this other meaning, you will see
지,
used after a verb with
는,
attached to the verb. Notice that
는,
is the same addition that is added to verbs in the past tense of.
는 것,
For example, you will see
사귀다 플러스 는지, 사귄지 먹다 플러스 는지 먹은지.
I want to take a moment to explain what you are seeing here. Remember that.
는,
Just like
는,
in the present tense and
을,
in the future tense, is added to verbs when they will describe an upcoming noun. For example,
우리가 먹은 밥,
the food we ate,
우리가 먹는 밥,
the food we eat,
우리가 먹을 밥,
the food we will eat. In this same respect,
지,
is also a noun. However, this is the type of noun that I like to call a pseudonoun. A pseudonoun is a noun, like above, that can replace
것,
as the noun in the
는 것,
principle. However, these pseudonouns only have meaning in specific sentences and cannot be applied to other situations. You will eventually learn more pseudonouns in your Korean studies. Below are some of the pseudonouns that you will come across shortly.
적 있는 적이 없다 인트로듀스트 인 레슨 32.
For example,
그것을 한 적이 없어요.
I've done that.
수인을 을 수 있다 인트로듀스트 인 레슨 45.
For example,
그것을 할 수 있어요.
I can do that.
줄인을 을 줄 알다 인트로듀스트 인 레슨 85.
For example,
그것을 할 줄 알아요.
I know how to do that. Let me explain the situation where you can use the pseudonoun.
지,
Again, when placed after a verb with
는,
attached,
사귄 지 먹은 지,
and when followed by an indication of time,
사귄 지 6개월 먹은 지 5분,
and then followed by,
되다.
usually in the past tense,
사귄 지 6개월 됐다 먹은 지 5분 됐다.
you can use
지,
in these constructions to indicate how long you have been doing something. You can only say this when you are still doing the action that describes.
지,
For example, if I use the constructions above, I can say,
여자친구랑 사귄 지 6개월 됐어.
I have been going out with my girlfriend for 6 months.
밥을 먹은 지 5분 됐다.
I have been eating for 5 minutes. You cannot use this to say how long you had been doing something. If you want to say something like that, you would have to simply say I did X for Y amount of time. For example,
저는 2시간 동안 먹었어요.
I ate for 2 hours. English speakers will quickly point out that I ate for 2 hours and I had eaten for 2 hours do not have exactly the same meanings. Korean people usually don't distinguish between these two meanings in their sentences and instead rely on context to make the specific meaning clear. Many more examples using
지, 한국에서 산 지 25년 됐어요.
I have been living in Korea for 25 years.
강아지를 기른 지 10년 됐어요.
I have been raising a dog for 10 years.
그 그룹이 훈련을 받은 지 5시간 됐어요.
That group has been receiving training for 5 hours.
이 아르바이트를 한 지 2주일 됐어요.
I've had this part-time job for 2 weeks.
한국에 온 지 2년 됐어요.
I have been in Korea for 2 years. Notice in this last example that this literally translates to I have been coming to Korea for 2 years, but it actually means I have been in Korea for 2 years. When indicating how long you have been at a location, it is common to use
오다.
You should remember that in these cases the speaker is not referring to the actual act of coming but rather how long it has been since arriving at the location. It is also possible to use this form to indicate how long it has been since you've last done something. To do this, you use the negative form of the verb, which, when combined with
지,
indicates that one still hasn't done the action since the specified time. For example,
우리가 안 만난 지 2주일 됐어요.
we haven't met in 2 weeks.
밥을 안 먹은 지 9시간 됐어요.
I haven't eaten in 9 hours.
용돈을 안 받은 지 1년 됐어요.
I haven't received an allowance in a year. You can also use this same form to ask questions to people about how long they have been doing something by using
얼마나,
or words like
올해, 한국어를 공부한 지 얼마나 되었어요.
how long have you been studying Korean?
운동한 지 오래됐어.
Have you been exercising for a long time? It is common to use the construction
얼마 안 되다.
to indicate that you haven't been doing something for very long. For example,
제가 한국에서 산 지 얼마 안 됐어요.
I haven't been living in Seoul for very long.
제가 우리 학교에서 일한 지 얼마 안 됐어요.
I haven't been working at our school for very long. You also saw in lesson 28 that this is one of the acceptable times where
은,
can be added to.
있다.
For example,
여기에 있은 지 얼마나 되었어요.
How long have you been here for? That's it. For more info, please visit howtostudykorean.com.